All right, ninth graders, we're going to go over these two problems. Technically, there's like 5 questions on here, but it's 2 general questions. This is page 60 in your math binder. You were just doing it for practice, and now we're going to go over it. Okay, so the girls and the boys soccer clubs are participating in a fundraiser. The girls club is selling candy boxes for $6 each, and the boys club is selling candles for $8 each. They have a goal of raising at least $120. They also want to sell at least 20 items. So you are going to write and graph a system of inequalities to show how many candy boxes and how many candles need to be sold to meet their goals. So I'm going to start by assigning variables. X equals the number of candy boxes, and Y equals the number of candles. Okay, so now I can write some inequalities. I'm going to start with the inequality that has to do with how much money I'm spending. So I know that a candy box is $6 each, and it is X. So I'm going to say 6X, $6 per candy box, plus $8 per candle, so 8Y. And they're raising money. They want to get at least $120, but they are probably hoping to get more than or equal to $120. Okay, so there is my first inequality. I'm going to draw some lines to separate it because I'll want to solve underneath. And let's write our second inequality on the other side. Now the other inequality is going to be our simple one. It's going to be our X plus Y, and we want to sell at least 20 items of candy boxes and candles. So we're going to say bigger than or equal to 20. All right, I'm going to solve both of these so that I can get in slope-intercept form. So I'll start by subtracting 6x from both sides. These are gone, and I have 8y is greater than or equal to negative 6x plus 120. Okay, last step will be dividing by 8, dividing by 8, dividing by 8. And when I do that, I've got y is greater than or equal. And when I reduce this fraction, negative 6 over 8, it becomes negative 3/4 x. And then 120 divided by 8 is 15. So plus 15. All right, when I go to graph that, my first dot, I should label these axes, by the way. Down here, I'm going to say number of candy boxes. And over here, I'm going to say number of candles, because they are my X and my Y values. Okay, so I'll start by putting my first dot at positive 15. My slope is telling me to go down 3 to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, solid or dashed line, well, this one has an equal to underneath it, so I'm going to use a solid line to connect them. Now, I can probably use context clues to figure out which side of this I am going to graph, but I'm going to use a test point. If I test the origin 0, 0, I would have 6 times 0 plus 8 times 0 is greater than or equal to 120. Now, ninth graders, is 0 bigger than 120? No, it's not. So I cannot shade this side with a star. I have to shade everything above it. So I'm going to shade above that first line that I just drew. This shading is looking amazing, just so we're all clear. Okay, let's draw the next one. I need to solve this second inequality for y. I'll just begin by subtracting x from both sides. And then I've got y is greater than or equal to negative x plus 20. When I graph that, I start with my first dot at 20. My slope is telling me to go down 1 to the right 1. I can make that a negative 1 over 1x. So down 1 to the right 1, and I will have a lovely looking slope like this. Make sure to put all of your dots in. That's how we do these problems. Okay, this has an equal to on it, so I'm going to connect these dots with a solid line. And then if I use the same test point, 0, 0, I would have 0 plus 0 is greater than or equal to 20. That's a false statement. 0 is not bigger than 20. So I now need to shade above the second line that I drew. And it will look like this. Now notice all of the double shading is up above the second line. We've got yellow and then just green. There's not actually just a blue section like there sometimes is, which is kind of interesting. So let's go through these questions down below. If the girls sell 10 candy boxes, how many candles do they need to sell? So let's go to the candy boxes and we're going to go to 10. And remember our solution's in the double shaded region. So you might be tempted to start here, but that's not double shaded. You have to go up until you reach this dot where it is double shaded, and that is at 10 candles. Now, it's not just the number 10 that would work, because then everything above 10 is also double shaded. So I'm going to say 10 or more candles. Okay, if the boys sell 3 candles, how many candy boxes do the girls need to sell? Well, I can't go to the candy boxes for 3 because it said 3 candles. So go to the candle axis and go up to 1, 2, 3. Now I need to follow along until I find the double shading for candy boxes. And that is at 17. So I can go 17 or more. And there we have it. Okay, let's go over question number 4. You are teaching a knitting class and you need to buy needles for the students attending the class. Each pair of steel needles costs you $3 and each pair of bamboo needles costs you $5. You can't spend more than $60 on needles, but you know at least 15 people have signed up for the class. So you're going to start by writing and graphing a system of inequalities to show how many steel and bamboo needles can be purchased. So I'm going to start by assigning my variables. X equals number of steel, and let's let Y equal number of bamboo. Now, once you assign your variables, always come over here and put them on the axes. Number of steel, and over here, number of bamboo. Okay, so now let's write our inequalities. When we're talking about the money here, a steel needle costs $3, so I'm going to say 3x. A bamboo needle costs $5, so plus 5y. And you can't spend more than $60, so you want to stay less than or equal to 60. Let's draw our second inequality next. Our second inequality is going to be the simpler inequality where we just have x plus y, but we know at least 15 people signed up. At least means that there could be more. So it could be greater than, but we know for sure it's equal to 15. Okay, let's start solving these inequalities and getting them fully graphed. I'll begin over here by subtracting 3x from both sides of this inequality. And I have 5y is less than or equal to negative 3x plus 60. Divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5. All right, then I have y is less than or equal to negative 3/5 x plus, and then 60 divided by 5 is 12. So I'll begin by graphing that. I'll put my first dot at positive 12, and my slope is telling me go down 3 to the right 5. Down 3 to the right 5. Down 3 to the right 5. And down 3 to the right 5. This had an equal to on it, so I'm going to use a solid line. And if I use my test point of 0, 0, test it with a different color, I have 3 times 0 plus 5 times 0 is less than or equal to 60. Is 0 less than 60? Yeah, it is. So I can shade everything below the line that I just drew. It is on the side with 0, 0. Okay, let's get our second inequality graphed. I can subtract x from both sides of this inequality. And what I have is y is greater than or equal to negative x plus 15. So I'll put my first dot at 15, and I'm going down one to the right one to fill in all of my lovely dots on this grid. Okay. Connect those with a solid line. And then if I use my same test point, 0, 0, I go back to the original inequality. I have 0 plus 0 is greater than or equal to 15. Ninth graders, that's not true. 0 plus 0 is not bigger than 15, so I cannot shade below my new line. I need to shade above it. So let me sketch along it first. I can see where my double shaded region is, and then everything else up here will be blue. This one's more like what we're used to, where we have a blue section, a yellow section, and the green section where they overlap. So now when I test my coordinate that they gave me here, it said, what is one combination of steel and bamboo needles that can be purchased to stay under the cost limit, but provide enough needles for the students? So we're looking at anything in this double shaded region. I could choose this coordinate right here, which is to the right, 12 steel needles for bamboo. I could say 12 steel for bamboo. I could go over here, I could say 15 steel, 1 bamboo. I could say 16 steel, 2 bamboo. That's still inside my double shaded region. I hope you understand that there are a lot of, I think I said 2 bamboo. There are a lot of options that would work here. So choose one that works for you. Because remember, our solutions are in the double shaded region. All right, I'm gonna have you, you are taking, I'm trying to remember, a test on this stuff tomorrow. So hopefully you got the review you needed because you're gonna move on to the test next. Let me know if you still have any questions.